So let's discuss on the Pega platform, where now see here. Now the Pega is nothing but what? Pega for ourselves, right? It creates a different layer in order to process, and in order to make them automate, and in order to make them reuse functionality. Like see here in the right side, follow my cursor. In the right side, we will be having a blue color, and here we'll be having a green color. Okay, as it's built on Pega, obviously. It's a base application, right? It's a base layer, right? So see here, it's having what reuse functionalities. Okay, so whatever the reuse functionalities is there, right? So it's built on Pega. So that's why it's built on base class, which we can reuse them. Okay, right. So in this layer, the assets of the Pega platform does. Okay, so this layer, what we can say, assets of the Pega platform. Okay, it uses the what assets of the Pega platform. Okay, yeah. So this is about the base layer. Okay, this is a simple structure, primary structure, we can say, base layer. And going into the next slide, we'll be having an organizational layer. So we intentionally articulated and designed this layer. Why? Because you will very well relate to this picture. Okay, organization. Now assume that ICCI is an organization. In organization, we will be having a many vertical divisions, right? Like here, we'll be having a accounts, we having a loans, okay, and we'll be having a credit cards, like this. Okay, so this is nothing but organization layer where they need to have a enterprise wide basis, enterprise layer, we can say. There they can have their own policies. Okay, so that it can be reused to the other applications, other on the top. Okay, so these here, see here, loans and all these things. Okay, so if you are not understanding, right? So in the later slide, I will make you understand in the annotation way. Okay, so no need to worry. I will provide a great example over there. Okay, for just for a better understanding, right? So I'm saying these slides, I'm passing these slides. Okay, but please follow with me. If I'm going fast, right, try to interrupt me so that I can be a possible way with you. Okay, so this is nothing but a division. Now, division is nothing but what we'll be having a Amazon.in, Amazon.com, Amazon.uk. Now, all these things, right? Now, I have set some last that extension .uk, .in, what US kind of thing, right? So this is nothing but what a division where Amazon can have their business at different levels of divisions, like branches, like we have a franchise in our native language, like branches, right? Indian branch, UK branch, US branch, Brazil branch, so like that. Okay, so if their respective company has its division, right, they can very well do the division layer as well. Okay, so if they don't have any sort of division, right, then no need to have. But suppose you are building an application where it's a startup. Obviously, you don't have any sort of branches, so that's why Pega identifies this situation and made them it as a optional case. So division is an optional case, which if you have that many branches, right, you can very well use with this division layer. If not, then don't use this. Okay. So these are the what few we can say consumer, seller, all these things. Be having a Amazon verticals where it operates in the different zones, US, UK, like this. Okay, and going into the next slide, we'll be having a unit layer as well, like here, sales and services. Now see here, in the TCS, in the Tata company, you will be having a many unit layers, right? Like power, software, like we have TCS, and we'll be having a chroma where it's enter into to see what e-commerce as well, and likewise we'll be having a many. Okay, we have a Tata Digital right now, it's a Tata IPL will be having, right? So like that, so we'll be having a many units, we can say. Okay, which comes under what sales, and we having a services, we having a very domains kind of thing. So that's one. So if you have this one, right, division, you will be having this as well, unit layer as well. Okay. So sales and services are, are units of the each division. Okay. Right. Now I'm moving into the next slide where you can see the implementation. The implementation layer contains what? At least one application. So this is a, I can say a mandatory kind of thing which we can have the implementation layer. Okay. Like we'll be having a branch. Okay. The branch kind of thing. Okay. Different assets kind of thing. Okay. Which we can do the, styling and, policies kind of thing. Here we can very well do that. In the implementation layer, that we are at the top of the application. Okay, now we are at the top of application, right? Now we can very well use the base application layer. Okay, and as well as the organization application layer as well. Okay, so whatever the policies, whatever the rules which we have defined in the base class and as well as in the organization level, right? So we can very well use over here implementation. That is nothing but our generation. Okay, our generation. So we are enjoying what with our parents' assets and as well as grandparent, great grandparents' asset, right? So same like that. Just I'm kidding. Okay, so like this. Okay, so we are just in a safe mode. Okay, so if you have a very big asset right now, we will very relate to this. Okay, so implementation nothing but what which we are in a safe hands and which we can reuse, which we can built on application with the reuse functionalities. That's it. We don't need to create anything. If you want any new, right, we can very well do that in the implementation. That's it. No, implementation is a what on top of it. So on top of implementation, there is nothing. So implementation is a top. I can say the top floor. Okay. Now base layer, what the foundation layer is nothing but Pega platform, nothing but what base class. Okay. So on the base class, on top of it, we'll be having a many layers, right? On the many layers, one of the layers is nothing but organizations, and on top of we'll be having an implementation layer as well. So this is the scenario of that. So let me explain with you the annotation. So where I said right, I will make you understand in a annotation way, right? So try to be with me where I will create a right. Okay. So this is nothing but a base class. Okay. So this is nothing but a base class where Pega base class we can say Pega base class where we can very well do that. Okay. So this is nothing but a base class. Okay. This is nothing but a base class, and on of it we will be having an organization layer. Okay. On of it we will be having an organization layer. Okay. And here we will be having what? A organization level. Organization layer. Okay. Now on below, right, we will be having what? We'll be having a another layer which is nothing but called it as what? A division layer, right? A division layer where if we have any division, we can very well do that. This is nothing but what? Unit layer. Okay. And you will be having that other as well, right? Implementation layer as well. Okay. You will be having a implementation layer implementation layer. Okay, and on top of it we'll be having an other called, so this one. Okay, where we will be having another called framework layer. Okay, and which we need to connect with this one. We can very well do that, like some, come this one, right? So like this. So this is a basic structure which we had discussed earlier. Okay, yeah. So this is nothing but a Pega base layer which we can very well use with the organization level. Okay, in the organization which we will be having a many divisions. Okay, like as I said, right, many divisions. If we have a many divisions, right, we'll be having a mini unit layer as well. Okay, so with the help of these things, right, you will be having an implementation and we'll be having a what, framework as well. Okay, framework. Okay, and this is wrong, I think. Right, I will. Okay, so this is the connectivity. So this is the connectivity which we can have that. Okay, now I can say that, so with the help of this Pega application, right, so now see here, which we can reuse the functionalities of organization layer, division layer, unit layer, and as well as this implementation layer followed by the framework layer. Okay, for suppose, if I have a beautiful example, so that, see here, let have a first name. Okay, and we having a last name. Okay, and here I have one. Okay, I have one layer. Okay, I'm not saying that what kind of layer it is, but I'm saying it's a layer. Okay, right, so it's a layer. Okay, on top of it I have created a two properties, let us say first name, and the other thing is what, last name. Okay, these two layers, right, these two properties which we have created in the one layer. Okay, now on below, right, like we can see the base layer, right, on below I want to create an other layer as well. Okay, like see here. Okay, now do I need to create other this first name and last name to this, and first name and last name to this, and first name last name to this? No, right? Okay, now I'm renaming this layer to other layer, that is nothing but ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank, which bank? Savings Bank. Savings Bank. Okay, now I'm using this as credit cards. I'm using this as loans, and I'm using this as demat account. Now ICICI Savings Bank has this information of first name and as well as his last name. Okay, now obviously, so this is the base layer, right? Savings bank, this organization, structure, right? Okay, so it has the first name and last name properties already been saved in a one layer. Okay, I'm not saying which of the layers. Okay, I'm just saying a one layer in order to make you understand in a better way. Okay, now obviously in ICSA we'll be having a many domains, right? Many domains, right? Like we'll be having a credit cards, like we have a loans, like we have a demat. Okay, so likewise we will be having a many. Okay, so if I need to fetch the customer's first name and last name, okay, or else if I need to get, if I need to create the first name and last name for the customer, do I need to create once again? No, right? I can just reuse these functionalities, that's it. From here I can simply reuse this functionality, that's it. Okay, for the loan itself I can simply have a reuse this functionality from this ICICI Bank. Okay, and here as well the same. Okay, I no need to create, once again all these things, right? Okay. So for credit cards, if I need to have this first name and last name, I no need to create this first name and last name once again for the customer. For this, likewise, the same wise for the loans as well, I no need to create the first name and last name respectively for the demat account as well. So whatever the reuse functionalities which we use, like first name and last name kind of thing, which this will be situated in a layer, okay, in a situated layer where it can have the reuse functionalities. Now this is nothing but which we can say a framework, which we can say what? Framework. Okay, these are nothing but what? Implementation. Okay, which are nothing but what? Implementation. These are nothing but what? Implementation. This is nothing but framework. ICICI Bank, ICICI structure, ICICI, what we can say, ICICI organization, which we can have, right? It's nothing but a framework. Okay, under this framework we'll be having a many vertical domains, like we have a credit cards, loans, demat accounts, savings accounts, current accounts, gold loan accounts, like we have a n number of implementation. Okay, for each implementation layer, if we want to create first name and last name, if we need the first name and last name, we no need to create once again. We need to extract. We need to reuse these properties from the framework layer. So that's why framework layer is a layer we need to design in a such a way that it should have the reuse functionalities. Okay, whatever the properties we create in the framework, right, it should have a reuse functionality in nature. Okay, like that. Now what comes? First name, last name, phone number, address details, address 1, address 2, pin code, email ID. So likewise we'll be having n number of properties, n number of labels we have. Okay, so once we create, right, in framework, simply we can drag and drop in the credit card zone, loan zone, demat zone. That's it. This is nothing but we call as a ECS. Now what's there in this? Okay, we'll be having a framework, we'll be having an implementation. Now on top of it, we'll be having an other some layers, right? On surprising of these layers, we'll be having a base layer. Now, framework will also utilize this, characteristics of what? Base layer. If you want any sort of, properties, okay, which is already situated in the base layer, which we can very well, use with this framework, use with this base layer. That's it. Okay. So likewise, great grandparents, parent, childs, child 1, child 2, child 3. We can have child 2, we can have the child 3. Now see here, child 1, child 2, nowhere related. They will not share anything, okay, which we will discuss tomorrow with a great example. Okay, see here, child 2 and 3 will not share their properties. Definitely, right? You will not share with your sibling. So that's how it's designed. Now see here. Okay, we will not at all in a situation where we need to reuse these functionalities among this child 1 and child 2. Okay, automatically it won't inherit it. Automatically it won't inherit it. Child 1 functionality won't get directly inherited to the child 2, and child 2 for child 3, and same among all other things as well. Okay, so whatever the properties which we need to create or which we have created in the credit card, right, directly it will not inherit to the loans. Okay, for suppose you have a property, your you have a car and your brother have a bike. Okay, now the car is only belongs to you, not your brother. That in the same way, what your brother holds a bike, right, that bike only belongs to him, not to you. So the property owner, the asset owner would be remain the same. But if your parents has a property, if your father has a property, that will what? That will belongs to you both. So this is nothing but what? A parent kind of thing. Framework is nothing but a framework kind of thing, where these are nothing but a childs, which we can reuse. Okay. So this is the annotation way which I had said I will explain. Okay. So in the next class, in the later session, we will have a great discussion on the implementation and as well as a framework with have a great explanation on the real-time scenarios as well. Okay, you will be redirect to the Pega application where we can have the great explanation over there how the properties which will be inherited. Okay, I'm using the some specific term, so try to be notate yourself. Okay, recall yourself like a iterated base class, framework, implementation, okay, and inheritance. Okay, so these three are whatever I have iterated some unique things, right? So no need to worry about that. I will recall it from tomorrow, which we can have a n number of recalls. Okay, so try to relate it with me. Okay, so today this up to this. Okay, so if you have any Q&A session, right, we can very well do that for a couple of minutes.